with Chris Moorman, Moorman1 on some sites. Welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you, complimentary of Pokertube.com.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it should be fun.
For sure. This is Jeff Boski, as always, bringing you all the greatest, best stars in the poker industry. We're going to be live on YouTube, so follow along. Enter your questions and comments. I'll be posted shortly on my Twitter and Chris's Twitter. Send the link right here. Yeah, it's going to take a minute for people to join. And that is tweeted.
I'll give you a retweet.
Excellent. And I'll send you the link on Facebook so you can watch the live chat also. Just make sure you copy and paste that and mute it so we don't hear the playback. Because it's like a 5-second delay or something.
Okay, cool. Where do I mute it?
Just when you open the YouTube page, just go to mute for the volume on YouTube next to pause or play.
Okay.
The YouTube page, just go to yep. Perfect. Volume on
All right, yeah, I think I got it.
Nice. Got Beer Light Broker in the chat already. Big fan of the Jeff Boski YouTube vlogs, which may be coming to an end or may have ended. RIP, 100 vlogs later. That's here nor there. We're here with the legend, Mr. Online, Mr. Live. He won a bracelet. He's got over 14 million in online winnings, not profit. 5 million in live winnings. Winner of this year's 3K, 6 Max, No Limit, WSOP event for almost 500,000 American. He's an 888 sponsored pro. He's married to Katie Lindsay. Welcome again to the podcast, Chris Moorman.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Yeah, should be looking forward to it.
Excellent. In 2014, he released the book, Moorman's Book of Poker. Talked to him about this briefly at the World Series this year. Apparently there's a copyright infringement with the Book of Moorman. Damn shame. Damn shame. Would have been a perfect title. But
yeah, I always get asked, why didn't you call it the Book of Moorman? Everyone thinks it's like a genius thing they've just come up with. But you know, I obviously came up with, I had the idea myself for having my last name for the last 30 years of my life. But unfortunately, it just wasn't, I didn't want to risk getting sued. It wasn't really worth it for a book.
Absolutely, absolutely. I could definitely see the annoyance of getting that same joke told over and over. Oh, what's your religion, bro? I don't know how big that is in the UK, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of Mormons in US. But now, 2017, he just released Moorman, the inside story to the most successful online poker player of all time, available on Amazon and now Kindle and iPad. Can you tell us a little bit more about what makes this book different and better than the 2014 version?
Yeah, so the first book I did was kind of like the publishers came to me and I wasn't really sure I wanted to do a book, but kind of got talked into it. And but because I'd never written a book before, I kind of didn't want to do it all myself. So I got the format was kind of the co-author, who was sort of a recreational poker player, played a bit online, but only kind of mid-stakes. And he played his sort of, he gave me the hands he played, and I basically said where he went wrong and kind of pointed out his mistakes. Felt a bit unfair for him because some of the hands he actually played really well, and I didn't have anything to write about, so I had to scrap those ones and made him look way worse than he actually was. But yeah, so that one I did like half of the book, and it wasn't about my own hands. So some of the feedback I got from people was they wanted to obviously hear about my hands that I've played, why I took certain lines, etc. And also people wanted to know more about me, sort of my poker story basically, I guess, because they, outside of my name, they really didn't know that much about me. So this time on the second book, I decided to basically include both of those things. And I have hands I've played in the last couple of years online, kind of went through my Pokertube database, selected a bunch of interesting hands, and also talk about some live hands I played like on big final tables, a lot from the World Series of Poker Europe 2011 main event, and kind of critique myself a lot because obviously the game changes so fast. So it's crazy to look back and see hands you played like 5 years ago and just see how terrible you played them and how different you play them now. So I kind of go through that, and then also just go through my whole sort of poker story, how I got started playing, sort of, you know, back in the glory days, how I was playing like every day of the week, became almost addicted to poker. Saw the rise and fall as well of my backing empire. At one point I was backing over 30 different players, and in the end they kind of ran me into the ground, and I almost had to start pretty much all over again. And yeah, it's just kind of like loads of crazy degenerate stories, and just kind of a life story. And I was kind of inspired as well by the main books that I read are sort of autobiographies of famous sports people. So I kind of had a good grasp on stuff that's interesting and stuff that people would find funny. So hopefully I did a good job of it.
Wow, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like me, we've played probably more tournaments than 99.9% of people when you count all the different online sites, live every day when possible. I know my friends back in the day, you say you were playing every day like an addiction. My friends would say that shit to me all the time, but as long as you're making X amount of money a day, more than a normal job, it isn't really an addiction. It's a good addiction.
Yeah, it can be, although it can be bad as well. Like, I mean, when I was playing, I guess I first got started online, and I was sort of in my early 20s, and I was doing well. And the games were so easy back then as well that I was kind of, every time I played, I was, you know, it's kind of, doesn't really happen in tournaments really, but most times I played, I was winning or at least breaking even, making final tables. And I found it hard to do other stuff. Like if my friends were going out, I'd be in my mind, I'd be weighing up the opportunity costs, like, oh, is it worth going, you know, is it going to be that good a night? I'm going to miss this tournament online kind of thing. I'm going to miss the full tilt 100 by 6 bets. Like, I can't miss that. Like, it's once a week, like, you know? So I kind of was, like, for that sort of 5 years, I was just playing 6 days a week and kind of became a bit of a social hermit and, like, you know, was eating badly, put on weight, like, got social anxiety and stuff. So definitely, there was definitely some drawbacks as well. Like, I was, like, at the time, you know, I was a millionaire, but I wasn't really living a millionaire's life. You know, I was kind of, the house was a mess. Like, it's just, like, poker was my only thing. That was the thing I was good at, and I wasn't really doing anything else in my life.
Yeah, it's like a video game, and the only way you're keeping score is your PokerStars account, your full tilt account, just exponentially increasing for all the hours and effort you're putting in. You're getting rewarded by a higher number in there. Why would you want to go out and enjoy that money when you can just make more of it, and you know it might come to an end someday? Yeah,
and I was kind of addicted to pocket fives as well, like the ranking system on there. I became obsessed with that. So it was a lot of it was volume based. So if I missed a day, then people were gonna be catching me up. So I kind of convinced myself I had to be playing every day, and like even if I wasn't feeling, you know, even if I didn't really want to play, I'd end up playing, like, unless I had something like better to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, I was all about pocket fives myself. I never really got to number one because I didn't play all the highest stakes at that point. But I mean, how many triple crowns did you win?
I think 25 total. Yeah, kind of crazy.
And a triple crown is.
I had the advantage of being able to play on the European sites. So obviously, some people were playing on four sites maybe, and I was playing on like 7 or 8. So that did help a bit. But yeah, like once I won 2 tournaments in the week, I was just like not leaving the computer until I've won the 3rd one on the other side. So it was just like, mode. But even once I won 1 tournament for the week, I was like, okay, I'm canceling all plans for the rest of the week because I was just kind of obsessed with them.
Wow, and a triple crown is winning 3 tournaments, all with field sizes, prize pools of $10,000 or more in 1 week on 3 different sites. And you did that 25 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Easy. The first one's the hardest one, but then after that, you kind of, I don't know, it just becomes routine.
That's very impressive, and it's like you said, chasing that #1 spot on pocket fives, but there was no actual reward for that. It was just like an ego thing. You want to get to the top of the hill, but they're not giving you any money, or there's no prize, right?
No, yeah, of course not. I mean, if you make it to #1, you're actually winning money at poker. But I mean, it was definitely possible to like somehow to make it really high ranked and not even be winning. you know. But yeah, it was kind of just a more personal goal of mine when I first started playing. You know, obviously you start off ranked in the thousands, and then I was like, okay, I got to make the top 100. I was like, made it. And the thing was, as I was coming up the ranks, I was chatting to some of the other players, sort of similar ranks to me. I'd send them a private message and start chatting poker with them, and get their views, and then sort of take some of their game and put it in my game, and give them. Obviously, I was giving them stuff back as well. But I kind of took a mix of a bunch of different people's games, and as I moved up, I kept chatting to other people. But I didn't want to be the guy who's ranked, you know, like 500th in the world, and now trying to message the guy ranked 3rd, and he's just being like, "Yeah, leave me alone," kind of thing. I don't respect your game, kind of thing. So I was messaging people who were sort of at similar stages as me, wanted to, you know, keen to learn more about poker, and we were sort of putting our ideas together and coming up with some different strategies. And obviously in tournaments, it doesn't really matter that much if you give one person some strategies, because you just don't come up against that person very often at all. Like the field was so big, you know.
That's true. Did a lot of people contact you for coaching at that time?
Yeah, I get it all the time. But I mean, I had a couple of, like, sort of back in the day, a couple of guys who sort of loosely I coached, but I didn't really do anything. I was just more like UK guys who were sort of friends of mine. I didn't really do any like money coaching hourly. I never kind of really got into that. I didn't think I would be, I don't know, I didn't think I would be that good at it. And also my whole life kind of was dedicated to playing. Really, I didn't have time to coach. It was just like, if I wasn't playing poker, I was sleeping. So I didn't really have time to coach as well.
It's understandable. Can you tell the viewers a little more about the rise and fall of the stable, how it got started? Did you do any one-on-one coaching? Not too much of the financials, but, you know, just the general idea before people say, "Oh, I want to stake my friend. I'll give him a 50% free roll," and the long-term effects of how that will, you know, be on them.
Yeah. So originally, I had a guy who owed me some money. He was a friend of mine, and I just felt like it was going to be hard to get paid back like that quickly. But I thought it was pretty decent at poker, and I felt like he could improve as well. He was a really tight player, and I felt like with a bit of guidance, I could, you know, he'd be able to bluff a lot when so I was basically giving him some tips as well, like outside of him playing. I was coaching a bit. But anyway, he started playing, and did good for me and paid me back the money. So I was obviously loving that, and carried on playing for me for a bit. And yeah, it was doing good. And then so it obviously hooked me in to get a few more horses, had like 5 or 6 guys. And it was, trying to think which year it was. It was probably like 2009, maybe. And a few guys built out some makeup, nothing much at that stage. And then sort of had my big sort of break in poker back, and only 3 or 4 months into doing it, really. And Ty Ryman, he was puffing my perp online. He like ended up getting second in the PCA main event for about 1.8 million. And we had a 50-50 deal, so obviously I had a bit of makeup as well. So all in all, I cashed for $1 million in like a couple of days, basically, and I did nothing. I just watched, you know, I watched the Bahamas getting drunk, watching at the front of the table. Every time someone got knocked out, I was making another $100,000 kind of thing. So after that happened, I was like, you know, I thought this was free money basically, and it was the way I've been playing a long time, and you know, have maybe made that much, but I've been playing every day, and now I just made that much again in one day. So after that, everyone knew that I had him as well. Like, you know, people on Facebook got me up to like get a stake, and pretty much anyone I'd ever heard of, I just signed them up. I was just like, okay, even if I didn't think they were that good, I'll just put them in the mid stakes, and they can grind them, and I'll teach, you know, I'll coach them a bit, and they can get better. And that was kind of all well and good in theory, because the game was so soft back then, and I did have a lot of people who did well for me, but I also had people who got into makeup, and then I was a really kind of bad backer in the sense that I was just bad at saying no. So people would ask me, can I play this like 1K multi-entry tournament on full tilt? And I'd be like, oh no, I don't think so. And then they would just ask me again, and I'd be like, okay, you're in. And then somehow they busted, and then they'd be like, oh, come on, look at the prize pool, look how much is up top. You know, I need to get a makeup, and I put them back in again, re-enter. Obviously, it just kind of spiraled out of control. They're like, my 5 or 6 guys went to 32 guys, and I was backing them all by myself. And then obviously the full tilt multi-entry stuff happened. Everyone was playing 3 times. So now effectively I've got like 90 horses kind of thing, because everyone's buy-ins just increased so much. And even though like I had crazy swings, like I had one day where I won the full tilt on, I won the the brawl on Full Tilt for over $100,000. And I actually ended up losing money on that day just because the horses did badly. So that was kind of a weird feeling. Just all kinds of crazy stuff. Like I had one I was playing. I had Mohsin Charnia. He won the EPT Grand Final in Monte Carlo for me for like, I think it was about €1.5 million. So I get half of that just before Scoop. He sends me it on Stars. So I have a bunch of money on Stars, and I had a bunch of horses in makeup. So I basically hunted and tried to get them out of it, playing the high Scoops, which are obviously really tough fields. Obviously, it was a terrible move for me, but I was just trying to get lucky, and didn't really get lucky. By the end of the last Sunday, I was deep in one of the heads up tournaments on day 2 kind of thing, the last 16 players. But me being me, I still wanted to play everything else. So I'm playing 12 other tables. This heads up thing with 16 left. I've got people messaging me like, oh, I mean, 10K for today kind of thing. And then anyway, as I'm sending out the money, it just comes up with an error message from PokerStars and says that I've hit my monthly transfer limits out of my account for $1 million. So I couldn't send any more money to people. That's how much they've been losing. And so I had to now I'm in the middle of this heads up match still, trying to play 12 tables as well. And then I'm like hitting people up on Facebook chat asking for a loan for a day before I can send them the money once my limits have sort of been reset. It was just kind of madness. It was pretty badly organized, and yeah, in the end I had to I think it was 2012 World Series of Poker. After that, I had a guy who went pretty deep in the last 70 players, and he didn't end up, he busted out. And at that point I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna have to be done with a stable. It's just too much up and down, and it's too much stress, and I'm just every time I was winning money myself, I was just sending it out to people. So I just decided to drop everyone and basically cut my losses with a lot of guys, and just play myself now, which is obviously a lot less stressful and more fun overall.
That's a hell of a story.
Yeah, that's just the start of it.
Wow, I can just feel your pain being heads up with 12 tables, and you've reached your $1 million transfer limit, and you're like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, at that stage, you just kind of have to laugh about it. Of course.
You're carrying the whole team.
Yeah, I mean, I had crazy ones. I had a guy, I dropped him a week later. He satellites into I think it was the 4max W Coupe event. He wins that for 60K or whatever. At the time, I dropped him about 500K in makeup. So I mean, obviously, I'm like, oh, 60K, that would all be mine. But I was friends with the guy, so I was happy for him. But still, I was a bit annoying. And then not only that, a couple of days later, he chops the main event in the W Coupe for 430K. So that was just it would have been his makeup wiped out kind of thing. And obviously instead I got 0. So I mean, you just have things like that happen. You just have to kind of laugh about it, really. It's just it's weird though, because money becomes almost you're immune to it. And it's kind of dangerous once you become immune to it. Obviously it's good for poker when you sort of don't care about the swings, but there is you can go too far and just become too far gone from it.
Yeah, it's very, very emotional, swingy game to say the least. But when you're, you're one of the best in the world, you can go through it. And, hey, just make the right decision. I'm sure I've heard dropping horses that are 50 to 100K in makeup because you just never see that money again. There's no payment plan. There's no agreement to, oh yes, let's get back to even somehow.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Once they get in that makeup, they're not playing their A game anymore. So obviously, it's better to get rid of them sooner rather than later. So if I went back and could do it all again, I would do a lot of things differently. But no regrets.
But you get that extra sweat of seeing them deep in advance, and it's kind of you. It's a piece of you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I had times where because I had so many horses, and a lot of them were playing in sort of smaller fields as well with regulars. I had times where it's a 6max tournament, say, and I had 3 of the guys on the final table. It's I was obviously loving it, but yeah, it was fun as well because in a way it improved my game because I got to talk poker with a bunch of different guys, and I railed a lot of final tables to see what was working, what didn't work. So it definitely helped me to sort of improve as well. But it was hard to stay focused myself because my wins and losses didn't really matter so much as how the stable was doing as a whole, because there was 30 of them and 1 of me. Yeah,
it's a hell of a situation to be in. You can hold on for 1 second. I just have to put my dogs away so they don't stop barking at the mailman. And we'll be back in 30 seconds. Feel free to check out the questions in the chat to see if you want to answer any of these guys. And 1 second. Come on, boys. Come on. Let's go. Go on the crate. Go on the crate. Come on. Let's go. Go on the crate. All right. And we're back. Let's see. Are stories of all your staking more in depth in either of the books?
Yeah, in this second one, I talked about a bunch of stuff, like some people who sort of maybe screwed me over, but just kind of like, I kind of laugh at my old self, like some of the stupid things, you know, I put a bunch of crazy things on makeup for horses, just like helping them out. But like now, if you look back, it kind of sounds ridiculous, you know. Like I think I put someone's wedding ring for their like fiance on makeup, just like stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow. So you outed some of the scammers?
Huh?
You outed?
No, I didn't mention any names, but like, yeah, I talked about some people who like screwed me over or whatever, but I didn't mention any names. I kind of didn't want to get into that, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of life. You got to expect there's always going to be some people who, you know, it's tough though, because these people, you know, you think you're friends and then they come back to sort of, that's the problem though, once money's, you know, trumps it. For some people, money can trump everything kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very stressful business for sure. I'm all about outing the scammers because they feel like they can just get away with anything in the poker world. They feel there's no recourse. No one's, you know, no one's breaking legs. No one's demanding repayment, repossessing their beds, their vehicles. It's just like, oh yeah, I oversold for the main event. I don't have to pay back 40K. I dropped my backer 100K in makeup because you know, I quit poker for a month, so I was out of the game. Now I'm back in. New backer. It's all good.
Yeah.
You can't let these people just go out and scam others. But I mean, I realize that you're friends too. It's tough.
Yeah, when I first started playing, I was told, you know, all you have is your reputation. You know, don't ever, you know, screw it over anyone, kind of thing. And you know, obviously, you see all the time, and these people still get in the poker tournaments. You still see them playing. You know, nothing bad really happens to them, which is sad, really.
Never. No public shaming. You know, you just walk amongst your peers like, oh yeah, I scammed that guy, I scammed that guy, I owe half the root money, but here I am. And they're like, and the people that got scammed, they're like, well, I hope he wins. I'm rooting for him, so maybe I'll get a little payback.
Yeah.
It's the most messed up situation ever.
Yeah. You wouldn't see it in anything else, really.
Yeah. Wild. Anyways, you now are a U.S. resident. Is this correct?
Kind of. I don't have a green card or anything. I just sort of, I have a house here that I live in, like maybe five months a year kind of thing. I'm traveling a lot for AA poker and stuff to, like, I have to go back and play events in London and Europe and stuff. And obviously I don't want to get green card here just because of taxes. There's no taxes in the UK for poker, so it's, yeah.
That's huge.
It's kind of expensive to live here, so for now, I'm just living here occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm playing some WPT, stuff like that.
Did you get a house in Vegas and California? Is that right?
No, I'm in Vegas now. I was in California before that, but moved to Vegas for the time being. But
Nice.
like, yeah, part-time.
Okay. You play on WSOP.com ever, or just not enough high stakes variety?
I haven't really seen. I played a little bit on leading up to the series. I played a couple of the main event satellites that are pretty good. I was actually really fortunate. The first satellite I played, it was a $200 one, and it had a huge overlay as well. So,
sick. My buddy won one of those. Had like 40 people. So yeah.
Yeah, it was an incredible tournament. So I played that, and obviously I played the online events during the summer on there. But yeah, on the regular Sunday, there's not really that much to play on there. I mean, there's like a 500, I think, but it's kind of small field. I always mean to play it maybe once I'm playing ACR or something, but I just forget in the middle of the session to load it up, and then by the time I open it, late rage is done or something. So I haven't really played only the online events, but they've been pretty good value.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I think I'm the only one in the lobby with the UK flag. Everyone else is the American flag.
It's so surprising in a way that 888 would sign you, but you can't play on their site. You should get like a special exemption. You could be able to play from America. You're UK for life.
Yeah, I don't know if people would like that if I just had different rules to everyone else. But I mean, I think I'm still traveling for all the series and stuff. Like they have like an Eclipse series at the same time as the WQ coming up, and I will like be back and forth there a lot actually, because obviously I'm here for the World Series anyway, so that's that's two and a bit months each year. So I'm only here for like another 3 months each year. So the rest of the year I'm sort of in Europe, in Canada, and Mexico, playing online, doing stuff. So I'm like I have to still keep up my lead on the online caches. So I'm still playing a decent amount online. And then
nice. Is it Vancouver or Rosarita for WCOOP this year?
Vancouver, I think. But I'm going to be in Brazil for the first part of it because there's a AA tournament there. And I didn't actually realize how far it is to get to Vancouver from Brazil. It's like a 16-hour flight or something. So I got to fly on one of the off kind of days of WCOOP, hopefully sleep on the plane and then jump back in and hope miss one day of it. So have a little break on the plane and go and grind it in Vancouver.
Damn, yeah, Vancouver is awesome. I spent a year there after Black Friday. Just the cost of living, I still profited, but I just love everyone's active, everyone's friendly. Yeah. Lululemon, yoga pants everywhere.
Yeah, so walking city, everyone's walking everywhere. Yeah, it's really nice. I have a few friends there as well who live there, so I go there, like hang out with them, see them. So kind of Pokertube, kind of sort of like hanging out trip. So yeah, it's always good. Like after you've done playing for the day, you can still go out and like get dinner and go out for a few drinks, which is nice because I'm used to playing back in the day, playing from the UK. Playing all through the night, so that was really antisocial. Whereas here, get up early in the morning, but I don't mind that too much. Set the alarm, get up, start playing, and then if the day goes badly, go out, get drunk, start again.
Yeah. A lot of cool restaurants I discovered out there. Just going out on dates with girls from online dating services. When I got done grinding, that was always just a double grind. Also, I recommend Fritz's Poutine. If you know what poutine is.
Yeah, poutine's good.
Fritz's downtown, man, open till like 3 a.m. Come back from the bar, hit that, you'd be loving it.
It was good. Did you ever go to Bridges, the Indian restaurant there?
Bridges, Indian. I went to Banana Leaf. That was kind of Indian. Not Bridges, though.
Yeah, it's a spot we all go to after a Sunday grind. It's pretty good.
Okay, it was like southwest Vancouver. By Granville Island, if you ever take the ferry across there, they got some good eats and then fresh market.
Nice.
Okay. What are your thoughts on bots, PioSolver, and the future of online poker?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that much about bots. I know that obviously they're getting better. There's going to be a time when they're, going to be better than the average person. So, well, they maybe are better than the average person now, but yeah, better than everyone. But and yeah, I'm not really sure how widely they're in place, but they're definitely out there. PioSolver is like obviously the new craze. Like I guess I don't know when it first started. Now it seems like it's been around forever. But yeah, I remember like actually it was Feder Holtz showed me it. It was like this is kind of what I was working on for years. So obviously, if someone like him says that, you're like, okay, I'll take some notice. So I bought it, downloaded it, started using it. Was confused a lot. It's weird when you type in hands and situations and it's telling you to do something that you just don't really understand at all. So you have to get your head around it. And it's obviously really useful to know different spots and stuff, but you can't learn them all. So you kind of have to get a basic idea of how it works as an overall strategy and then implement some of it. I don't, like for tournaments, it's weird. I think some of it you have to still be really aware of how your opponents are playing rather than, because obviously a lot of them are trying to play a Pio strategy. So, and if you play in Pio, sometimes you can miss out on some exploits against them. So I think it's like tournaments now are becoming a thing where you mix in some of it and also using some exploits against people who are playing badly. So it's definitely changed the game for sure. Like, I don't know, you know, obviously it's going to become more and more stuff like that's going to come in and make the game tougher and tougher. Yeah, it's like poker's not like it was in 2008 now, right?
Yeah, it's a scary world, but it makes sense that if bots can do things better than us without emotions, they're just going to be better over the long run. And if they can use a GTO strategy where if the other person's playing perfectly, the best they can do is break even, how could you ever beat a balanced bot?
Yeah, and bot's not going to tilt either.
Yeah.
Helps.
Doesn't need to sleep.
Yeah.
Run that bot. But hopefully the sites are on the lookout for that, and real-time software isn't too big of a problem if they can detect that also.
Yeah.
I like from what I watched, like Tonka's streams. He's also an 888 sponsored pro. Big fan of him. I met him this summer at Planet Hollywood. I know 888 is just really rising in the ranks compared to Poker Stars, which just seems to just be making horrible decision after horrible decision. What are your thoughts about that?
Sorry, I missed that. What did you say again? Sorry.
888 seems to be getting a lot more players and better tournaments available, where Poker Stars seems to be just raking players and making the games worse, higher rake, unbeatable format, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I saw something crazy actually the other day where on Poker Stars now they have in the tournament buy-in, they don't even show the rake. You have to like go searching to find out what the rake is. So obviously that's kind of scary. Like they could just, you know, increase it and you wouldn't even know for a couple of weeks. You wouldn't, you know, unless you were like on the forums and on Twitter. So it's definitely scary, some of that stuff. Like they're trying to do some, like they're trying to do a live poker tour. It's small buy-ins at the moment. Like I think the main event's normally 888 euros, but they have like a sort of mini high roller, which is like maybe 2K, 5K euros. And they're doing a bunch of stops, like some cool places. Obviously, the next one coming up is in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. I've never been to South America, so I'm excited for that. So I think they're trying to do some, you know, stuff. They're doing more tournaments. They're having a couple of 3 or 4 series a year now. They have good payout structures in there as well. Like, actually, was hearing something Tonka said the other day. He was playing the 1K well on there on Sunday, and he looked at the prize pool, and it had about 50 less people than the Poker Stars 1K, and it had more for first, just because it was like paying, you know, better, like old school sort of payouts. But that's what tournament players kind of, on the whole, want. They want to play for a big amount for first, and they don't need 30% of the field cash in for like 1.1x buy-ins, you know. So yeah, stuff like that's good. And I mean, they still need to work on the software a little bit, but there's plans in the pipeline, and hopefully, yeah, it keeps continuing on an upward trend.
For sure, yeah. It's their whole business model seems to be more towards gambling spin and go type games, flatter, more payouts, so people can just get raked more and more, even if they're not winning in those games. Just looking out for themselves and not the players. And I mean, it doesn't really affect me. I've been out of the Stars game for a few years since not going to Vancouver anymore, but just bad for poker altogether. And it's good to see sites like 888 and Party stepping up, trying to take that #1 spot.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, inspires Poker Stars to stop doing that, and you know, obviously going to lose their market share. So hopefully, it's good. Yeah, good for the game. It goes back, spins back full circle. I mean, it's going to be tough, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
It's funny, I actually saw a statement from Lee Jones yesterday, I think on 2+2, regarding the hidden rake. And he said it's better for recreational players so they don't get scared by a lot of math. 200 plus 15. We're not here to do math. We just want to keep it simple. I can't even make this up. It's on.
They try and spin it any way they want. Yeah. So
Talal Shakurchi rate a lot on 2+2. He like reposted that, and he's just like, LOL. Come on. What are we doing?
I mean, how dumb do they think they are?
Yeah. He's like, this is much better this way. And a lot of people, you know, said, oh, they're just going to raise the rake and no one's going to even realize it for a long time, especially recreationals. And that's just step one of a, you know, way to shear the sheep even more. But, whatever. Not much we can do about it but laugh at this point and play on 888 poker.
Yeah, I mean, we're the ones who keep registering for the tournament, so maybe.
Yeah, gluttons for punishment. But yeah, I watch Tonka on Twitch. He's a great player, good entertainment, 888 player. Really like what he puts out there. He's got a good attitude.
Yeah, it keeps the like MTT growing fun, like from what I've seen. So yeah, and he's like, I met him, I guess about 6-7 months ago now, and like hung out with him. We actually played like a drunken cash game in Rosvedov, actually, where they're holding the World Series of Poker Europe. I was there for an AA trip and played like a drunken 1-2 cash game. Him, Niall Farrell, a few other people. It's good fun though. Yeah, so he's definitely a good guy and someone good to have on the team. Someone just like good to hang out with when you have to do some of those 8-8 sort of working days.
For sure. I met the 888 marketing director, I believe. He wasn't from the U.S., but he lives here now. You probably know him. I forget his name. But, yeah, I played with him at the Win. Super nice guy. He was talking about the signings of Sophia Lovegren and you and Tonka. And he just said how they're really looking for people that are, upbeat, good personalities, marketable, good players. And they seem to be doing a lot of things right.
Yeah, I guess I've been with them for about a year and a half, maybe. Just over a year, and nothing but good things to say so far. So, yeah, fingers crossed continues.
Excellent. But when you are in the U.S., you're playing a lot more live. You've transitioned well, finally capturing that elusive bracelet. The fans want to know, what is your most accurate live tell?
Most accurate live tell. I mean, I guess it's just the people who just do a really bad job at acting when they're really strong, but they act like, they act so weak, and it's just so obvious. As soon as they start doing it, you're like, okay, you just snap fold, even if you've got a really, really good hand. Like, there's a reason they're a poker player and not an actor. They just they just like lean back in their chair. They do the deep sigh as well. When they do a deep sigh and then suddenly they're like all in. I've never seen someone do a deep sigh and then be all in as flop. Like, it'd probably be a good move, but it's crazy how often it works for them against, like, in other hands against someone else. The guy ends up calling and like he's then surprised to see him open nuts, and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were weak then." And like it's just those guys are just so obvious kind of thing. But yeah, I've been playing more live. Obviously, moving to Vegas, that's kind of the aim, to play more live. I'm gonna be playing some more live cash and stuff, although just haven't really got that motivated so far to go out and play it, I guess. I've played like 2 sessions since I've been here in about 4 months. But to be fair, in the World Series, I was playing live tournaments most days, so I couldn't be bothered after busting a live tournament. I haven't got the same grind ethic live. Like, it's tough. Online, if I bust something, I'm straight back in. Like, doesn't matter. But if I go deep in a live tournament and bust, then it's hard to go out and play the next day, or, definitely not the same day. I think one day in the World Series, I went and played 3 tournaments in one day and busted them all, and then I was like, okay, I'm only playing 2 maximum in a day now. Like, it's just too painful.
The pain is still there. I mean, you've probably lost 50,000 online tournaments in your life. You play one live tournament, you lose. Can you describe the feeling? Do you still have the drive of shame? Do you still feel the tunnel vision, the anger?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you bust out. Sometimes, luckily, I don't normally carry like a bag with me or whatever when I play, but I had to bring some stuff to the Rio, whatever, one day or something this summer, and I busted out the tournament. And for that split, like 10 seconds, you kind of lose your head a little bit. You don't, depending on how you bust out, you don't know whether to like say, sort of say anything to anyone, and then I basically left my bag at the poker table, and then I'm walking off, and then 2 minutes later I realize I've left it at the poker table, so I have to go back and collect it, and that's just like a terrible. It's like reliving the pain all over again. So that's why I don't really bring a bag with me while I play poker. But obviously that sort of feeling when you bust a live tournament, you've been playing maybe like, especially on a day 2 or something, you've been playing 10 hours the first day, 6 hours into day 2, you're starting to see the finish line, you're in the money, but you're not really guaranteed any profit. You're basically just getting your buy-in back. And then, something bad happens. And then there's obviously another tournament tomorrow, but you're starting again with, 5,000 chips, and you just had 500,000 chips like a few hours ago, and there's no antes, and it's just thousands of players in front of you, and it just seems like such a long distance away, and it's tough to play your A game in those situations.
It's a very accurate assessment of the live tournament game.
Yeah.
I know people that would bring like seat cushions with them, and they'd bust, walk away for 2 minutes, and just be so tilted they just leave a $50 seat cushion there. He doesn't want to go back to the scene of the crime.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. Like obviously everyone busts the tournament, and like when you register, like pretty much everyone's gonna bust. But when you bust out, you just think, oh. You wonder, are they talking about me now that I've gone, like, especially if you did something a bit controversial, everyone's like, oh, what's he done there? He's blocked it off. Oh, it was obvious the guy had the nuts, So.
Oh yeah, people always like to, jab at whoever loses. It's such a mean environment. Oh yeah, or you know what I hate? The nice hand. You ever get, if someone's rooting against you, someone beats you in a pot, and the guy that doesn't like you taps the table, says, nice hand, bro, just to spite you.
The one I don't like is when people say they're all in against you, and they get lucky, and then they're like, "Oh, sorry," and I'm just like, "You're not really sorry, are you? I just own it, You're happy. You just cheered in my face. They cheer in your face, and they go, "Oh, sorry, mate." I'm like, if you were sorry, you wouldn't have cheered for a start. But yeah.
Sorry, bro. Didn't want to win.
Yeah. I also don't like when people like wish each other good luck and all that. Come on, like you don't really mean it, like.
100%. I went on a huge rant on one of my YouTube vlogs about this. Good luck and nice hand. We go all in. You say good luck. What does that mean? That means nothing. You're going to war. You want the other person to die. You don't want to wish them good luck.
Yeah. You deserve to lose if you wish them good luck. I mean, obviously wishing people good luck if you're not involved in it, you like the guy, but yeah, don't wish them good luck against yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Or what about when you go all in, before anyone calls you, someone that's friendly with you is like, oh, good luck all in. That's more good-natured, but you're like, yeah, thanks.
That one's okay, I think. If they're not in the hand, like, I don't mind that one. But yeah, if they call and then they're like, good luck. You don't really mean it. Come on.
Yeah, they're like, you got to hit them with the bad luck.
Yeah. That's the one that gets me.
All right. So we went over a lot of good stuff here. Answered my question about backing players. You just say you wouldn't recommend it in overall.
No, not really. Especially in today's sort of modern environment, like games much tougher. Back then, it was like if I'd have done it right back then, I could have like done really well. But I just wasn't really cut out for it. I didn't have the right mentality. Wasn't able to say no. It was just really poorly organized. I needed to get an assistant and just pay him like some money, and I would have made a lot more money from it. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for sure. I mean, there's some people who do it like a good job out there, but they're few and far between, and you have to put a lot of work into it. And yeah, it's just way more work than you anticipate.
Yeah, there was high highs and lows, but overall, just probably not worth the stress.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't take it back. Like, I met a bunch of great people, sort of, hung out with people in all different countries, sort of railed some epic final tables. I mean, it was good times. I won the live triple crown in backing, like a couple of bracelets people won for me, a couple of WPTs, EPT. So I mean, had some really good people, but then I had some people falling asleep at the computer and not waking up to finish their tournaments. So it balances itself out.
Yeah, you gotta think you made a lot of dreams possible. Without them, maybe they couldn't have won those bracelets or EPTs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and also like most of my guys I was friends with and had like, good at that time. I was just playing poker all the time as well. So they were like my friends. I hung out with them every day, and that was kind of part of my life. So I definitely wouldn't take any of it back. But yeah, obviously if I went back now, I would do a lot of things differently. But still a bit.
You brought up horses falling asleep at the computer. One of my questions was, what was like the most ridiculous, like irrational excuse you ever heard from a horse where you're just like, what are you talking about?
Wow. I was trying to think. So many. I mean,
like, come on, bro. What?
I had someone who thought their computer had been hacked and everyone could see their cards. They were convinced. They were like, every time I re-raise the guy, and I don't have it, the guy just goes all in. Every time I've got aces, they just snap fold. And he was like really convinced. Like he thought he had a virus, and he was like, they've been hacking my computer. Just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, variants still get you thinking some crazy stuff.
Yeah. You're going to lose the stretch in poker. I don't care who you are. Like you definitely start doubting yourself and start affects you mentally as well.
Absolutely. I know you said when you were grinding hard, just like me, eating healthy and working out, not even an option. You don't got time for that. Looks like you're in a lot better shape now. Is there any health or fitness tips you can give the viewers?
Well, probably don't, like back when I was playing poker every day, I was just pulling pizza up like 5 times a week. So probably not a good strategy. And I was like, I was thinking, oh, I kind of want some wings, but I kind of want some pizza. So I'll just get both and I'll eat the rest later kind of thing. And yeah, it was awful diet and there wasn't really time to do any working out or anything. I mean, right now I wouldn't say I'm still, you know, I wouldn't say it's amazing, but my wife, she's a pescatarian, so she doesn't eat meat. So she, you know, she cooks and I eat it basically, and I like it. And I'm not ordering pizza all the time, kind of thing. But I wouldn't say I'm like overly healthy, where I'm sort of watching everything I eat. But if you know, if I put on a bit of weight, I'm like after the World Series kind of thing, like definitely sort of was going out too much, eating with friends, and just kind of eating whatever I wanted. And sort of saw the difference after the World Series, so I was like, okay, I need to cut that out, kind of thing, and just sort of not drink as much and take a few weeks off, kind of thing. So I'm definitely more aware of it now, but I'm not gonna like go out of my way to like ruin my life by eating a salad every sort of lunch, you know. So just kind of keep it in check and not go too crazy.
For sure.
But no, like back in the day, I guess it was yeah, it came to a point where I was sort of every year I tell myself New Year's resolution, I'm gonna get in shape. This year I'm gonna, you know, start eating healthy, go to the gym and stuff. And then I guess it was 2010 or 11, maybe 11, I think. I hit up Jason Kuhn on Facebook chat, and I was living in Cyprus at the time. It's like sort of near Eastern Europe, kind of an island off the sort of near Greece. And I hit him up and said, oh, how do you fancy coming to Cyprus as a horse? Like you can basically be a part-time sort of fitness coach and chef on the side, and we'll go around and play all these EPTs. And just kind of did it almost just to like make myself feel better about myself, that at least I tried. And then before I knew it, he agreed. He didn't even know where Cyprus was at that time and everything. And he found it, he'd already booked the flight and he was on his way. And he lived with me for like 6 months, and he like got me to the gym every day. He was cooking super clean. Like we weren't even allowed fruit after 6 p.m. because of the natural sugars or stuff like that. So it was just like complete lifestyle change. But yeah, I noticed like huge difference, like lost like 45, 50 pounds in 6 months. Well, less than that, actually, like 4 months maybe. And, you know, I rock up to these live poker tournaments, and friends I hadn't seen from the UK for a bit, they were like, wow, crazy, you look like a different person. And kind of since then, I've not been anywhere near as strict as how he was. But yeah, I've just kind of just tried to keep it in check and not get too out of control the other way again.
Wow, yeah, Jakun's definitely the right guy to call to get your discipline with your eating and working out. I'm sure he's a great motivator and very intelligent with nutrition.
Yeah, he's a tough guy to say no to. Like we were playing in Cyprus, so a lot of the time the tournaments would finish at maybe like 8, 9 a.m. in W Coop, and the next day it didn't matter how late we finished, the next day he would still be there at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Be like, okay, we've got to work out, we've got to do the leg day, and then we've got to, you know, do this before we can even play poker. So before we were allowed to grind, we had to go to the gym and like be there and do all this stuff. So obviously when I wake up after like 4 or 5 hours sleep, I was like, no way. But he was just like, yes, you're doing it. And you can't say no to doing it. If anyone has met him, he's a pretty big guy.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. I met him quite a few times. One of my favorite quotes that I still remember from him is, "There's 24 hours in the day. You can spare an hour to work out every day. Just do it. It's just an hour."
I can imagine him saying that as well.
It's like, oh yeah, I mean, it makes sense. But when you're, you know, sweating, breathing heavy, just feeling the burn, sore from the day before, you're like, that's a long hour, man.
It makes you feel bad about yourself when you feel
yeah, it's not even 5% of your day. Come on, you lazy American.
I'm just thinking, oh shit, I haven't worked out all week yet. So, like, oh, now I feel real bad about myself.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. We're coming to the end here, wrapping it up. Well, we got some questions in the chat, and let's see. One last thing. Are you invested in any crypto? You know about the crypto world? You deep in it?
Not deep in it yet, but maybe, I don't know, I feel like I missed the boat a little bit. Like my friends were talking about it as well, and it was me being too lazy to get involved. I'd always be like, okay, I'm going to do it, and then I tried to do it, and I had to set up this blockchain and all this other stuff. And in the end, I didn't really know what was going on. I was just hearing all these different terms being thrown about. But a bunch of like my friends did like really, really well from it actually. And in the end, I've given like a bit of money to this one guy who's basically running a system for me. He's got a spreadsheet that he sent me. I kind of check that religiously now. I'm like there 5 or 6 times a day, checking it every hour, see if it's gone up or down. He's got money in like about 5 different things mainly at the moment, but it changes day to day. And then like sometimes he gets it, sometimes he doesn't. So he's done really well from it though. So I just gave him like a free roll on profit, and hopefully he can do the same for me. But yeah, it's crazy. Like it's very. I've only been sort of involved in it for the last sort of month or something like that. But already I see how volatile it can be. It's just like up and down. Like like I've been in stocks before and seen them sort of stay on an even keel, really, like up a little bit, down a little bit. And this one, it's sort of down, halves in price, then it's back up above it. It's really ups and downs, but it's good sweat. So I like it.
Definitely super volatile, but they say a lot of poker players gravitate towards it because we're good at handling the swings and we don't freak out when we lose 30% in a day, which is very common in the crypto world where people are like, oh, fuck it, just sell. It's over. Let's save our money. And then the next day it goes up 50%. You're like, oh, man, good thing I didn't sell.
Yeah. But I mean, actually, one thing I did, I was keen to ask was when I was back home recently. So I asked some of my friends who are not in poker if they were sort of in, these cryptocurrencies, because I wanted to see how sort of viral it had gone. Because I felt like if they knew all about it, then I don't know. I felt like the game was up kind of thing, but they hadn't really heard of any. I think they maybe heard a little bit about Bitcoin, but that was it. They didn't know anything about it. So I felt like, because it's obviously become really mainstream now in poker. So I was wondering if it had become mainstream throughout sort of the world, but I guess not yet. So maybe there's still money to be made in it.
Yeah, I'd say maybe 5 to 10% in the U.S. Average person would even know what a Bitcoin is, and maybe 1% actually owns a Bitcoin or a fraction of a coin. Yeah. Let alone the hundreds of other coins they can invest in that are all have different uses that could be huge in the future. And it just seems like unless something drastic happens, it's just a better way of transacting money and services and contracts. It's just so useful. It just seems like the natural technological progression of money and currency.
Yeah, I mean, I finally have to get involved just because I couldn't have all my friends being like, how did you not get, like they all get rich. Then I'm just like sitting there like, why didn't I listen to any of them? So I had to be involved just for the like morale of it.
Yeah, it's a good sweat, and it's a volatile investment, but it should be a good one long term.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Excellent, Chris. Let's see, just wrapping up the chat here. Thanks everybody for joining the Pokertube live stream with Chris Moorman. His book, The Inside Story of the Most Successful Online Poker Player of All Time. You can find it on Amazon.com and also on Kindle iPad. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we wrap this up, Chris?
No, I think that's it. I think I'm good.
Excellent. Really appreciate you hanging out. It was fun reliving some good old online memories and catching up.
Rolling back the years. Thanks for inviting me on the show.
Anytime. Really appreciate it. And that's going to be it. Thanks again for watching. And check this out on Pokertube main page, and it's on YouTube. Live stream will be published shortly. Thanks again, Chris. And I'll stop the broadcast and we'll chat a little bit off stream.
All right.
Thanks again.
Okay.